Oh So Sensitive is Off-Brand's hot new single, and it's out now on Spotify and YouTube and Napster and Apple Music and
all of the places.
all of that. It's out
Tidal?
there.
It's on Tidal.
You guys on Tidal?
Yep.
Yeah.
We should have fucking said it at the beginning.
So you can just edit this in.
Yeah,
I could, yeah.
Splice over a voiceover, be like, Off-Brand's new song, Oh So Sensitive.
I could
available now.
Just put this ending section at the beginning and then just leave it at the end as well.
There you go.
So they hear it
Sure.
twice.
That'd be
You're
good.
hearing this twice.
That'd be perfect.
Efficiency.
Welcome back to Bit Depth. I'm Santiago Ramones. Joining with me is
Santiago Ramones and
Jack Martin?
you're supposed to say Santiago Ramones.
That's fine. That's fine. Welcome back. Welcome back to Off-Brand.
We're going to talk about the local music scene. You have a hot take, right?
Yes. Hot take.
Which one do you want? I got hot takes all day long.
I mean, maybe the best take?
What's the problem with the
Yeah.
local music scene,
Yeah.
Mac? Go.
So-
In 30 seconds or less.
Whoa.
That's not going to happen. So there's been a big conversation lately among local musicians.
The correct answer was not enough ska, by the way, but carry on with
I
your
think
answer.
the big news has plenty to go around.
Can't have enough ska.
Like there are like
Or
eight.
Don't Tell Dina said on their other podcast, the big nudes.
Yeah, that's right. I literally just listened to that episode like last night. So it's all like every time you asked a question in the interview section, I'm like, what Don't Tell Dina responded with is rolling through my head, which is not
okay,
constructive.
yeah.
But I was like, oh, I remember these questions. Deja
Anyways,
vu.
go ahead.
Anyway, so there's a big conversation right now, primarily centered around a specific venue, which we already named in the last episode, so we can't really maintain plausible deniability. VZDs.
You didn't name them. Well, now you just
now
did.
I have.
God damn it. Okay,
VZDs did some shit,
Yikes.
and
I mean, I think it's fine to talk about it because they did do it.
Yeah,
they
they
did
did.
it multiple times, and there's proof.
hold people
There's
accountable.
proof that they
accountable for
did
this
it.
shit.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
so it's not like this thing where it's like we're, guerrilla warfare or anything like that.
and it doesn't invalidate problems from anyone else. It's just
Yeah.
that the thing that started the conversation was there were 2 or 3 different acts. Dr. Pants primarily, and then Off-Brand we had a bad experience that we kind of contributed, and then there were a couple others which I don't remember specifically, but I'm sure nobody remembers Off-Brand specifically.
It was a
either,
conversation more than like it was a bigger amount of time where artists had bad experiences.
Yeah,
dealing
exactly.
with it.
But it is also indicative of kind of experiences that people have had throughout the
It wasn't
music scene.
It wasn't just VZDs that this was the problem with.
But the sort of the conversation that developed from there, so the problem seems to be that venues, promoters, sort of the people who are necessary but sort of ancillary to the music scene, don't value artists enough. Like that's kind of been the thesis of the discussion, if you will. And I think there are definitely specific instances of venues doing things that are not good for artists, things that are, arguably like objectively wrong, and specific venues that do it worse and more often than others and whatever. But I think that ultimately the thing that the Oklahoma City music scene needs are solutions that come from a much more kind of holistic view of the situation. So a point that I've made a lot when this discussion has come up is that, like, obviously artists are the ones generating value in the music scene. And of course they should be paid for that. They should be paid, in my opinion, they should be paid first. Like when money comes in the door, the first thing that should go to is who is providing the value.
Yeah.
That said, as far as I know, nobody in kind of our sphere of the local music scene is making a living just playing in a band.
God, no.
There may be a couple of people who are scraping by on just doing things kind of related to the local music scene. People who do recording, people who do live sound, and are also in 4 bands or whatever.
Yeah.
But the fact is that none of these people live or die based on money they do or don't make in the music scene. For venues and for sometimes promoters or whatever the role happens to be, those parties do live or die based on money they make in the music scene. So I think that there's a certain amount of generosity probably should be added into the conversation towards venues. That like, no, like a venue has to make money, especially the few that are like primarily setting themselves up as we are a music venue.
Right.
You know, like, no, they have to make money or they go away and then there's no music scene. So I think there's been this tendency lately for musicians to try to point blame at venues and promoters and say, well, if they get their shit together, then everyone's going to make money. But I think the root problem in the music scene.
Also, the root problem.
Are you
familiar with the root?
I am familiar of the root. I've
Yeah.
played there a couple times, but I don't know of any.
They're straight up not making money.
Yeah, so the root is a great example. So I wasn't sure if you were going to say. I wasn't sure if you were going to put the root in like the VZDs category.
No.
Because I
the
know
root is like they can't pay to
like
keep it going.
The root is not a bar primarily. The root is a music venue primarily, and it has changed hands multiple times because people just can't afford to keep it open. And the root's not a bad. Like there are some, I think, clear things that they could do to be better, but the root is not a bad place at all. Like it sounds pretty good. It's a cool space.
Yeah.
But anyway, I think ultimately the problem is that everybody who is a part of the local music scene, like everybody who goes to local shows is in a local band.
Yeah.
So what you have is you have all of these people with their own jobs. They make their own money doing something else. They all come in, they play shows where they charge a cover, they go to shows where they pay a cover, and all of the income, all of the money, the whole economy of the local music scene is just these local musicians just kind of passing around money between each other. And in order for a local music scene to happen, you need venues. Those venues have rent. Those venues have overhead. And so they are essentially just leeching money out of this kind of circular music scene. So you have no money coming into the scene from outside of it. And you've got money leaving the scene. And like, yes, venues should value artists more. But when that's the whole music scene, there are different choices that can be made, but I think it's hard to say that, barring some especially bad examples, it's hard to say that there are better choices that could be made, just different ones. You can make different sacrifices. And I think it's a lot easier to put the focus on these individuals who run these things and say, if they would figure their shit out, then everybody would be doing better and everybody would be making money and yada, yada, yada. But none of those proposed solutions get more money into the scene.
Right.
The fact is that like we don't live in a place where we get a stipend for artists to just live and make art. Like we live in a capitalist system. And so we have to get people who aren't trying to draw money out of the scene to invest money into it. And I don't know what the solution to that is. Like Jack and I have talked about it quite a bit because I think solving that problem is super, super relevant to our interests and our well-being as a band. And I think that's true for every local artist. But
I mean, like it or not, you're here.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I don't want to, you can finish up. I don't want to derail you if you were still going.
Well, I mean, that's I was getting to the end, just like the problem that we have to solve first, like holding venues accountable for being moral with the way that they handle their business is kind of should be a given. It's not, but it should be. But the actual problem that has to be solved before anything can really get better is like we have to figure out how do we reach just people who live in Oklahoma City, people who live in Norman does a little bit of a better job of it. Tulsa does, from what I understand, a pretty okay job of it. Like there are bands in Tulsa that are just bands in Tulsa, and that's what they do.
Yeah.
I don't think there's probably very many of them, but it's a thing that's possible. And I don't know, I think that's where we are, and I think that's ultimately the problem that needs to be solved. And I think that all of this other stuff is important but secondary, and it can be solved while we solve the other problems. I think that taking care of like the relationship between venues and artists and repairing that is going to be helpful and important to moving forward. But yeah, that's kind of that's my that's my hot take.
Yeah, and it's good to take an economic standpoint from it, because that is, in the end, that is what we're talking about. We're talking about money.
Yeah.
It's like people always like third world countries are not poor because they're corrupt. They're corrupt because they're poor. And our music scene kind of follows the same principle. Like when there's nothing going around and there are any parties that have to survive from it, then it's impossible to share. It's impossible to be fair. So,
Yeah. And I think it's, and I think I've talked about it on the podcast before, but it's a part of the culture of Oklahoma. And so I don't know how we change the culture of Oklahoma to sort of just change people's minds to go, there is music in Oklahoma.
Right.
And that music has value, and you should go to these shows and pay for it.
Right.
Because there's tons of people who live in Oklahoma and love music. Like freaking Moore's like water tower says like home of Toby Keith.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
they know, like we all know that Oklahoma values music, but the consumers themselves aren't going, hey, I want to see music tonight. I'm going to go to a local venue and see that music, even though I'm not involved in music in any way, shape, or form.
Right.
And so like if the consumer's perception is just there's no music in Oklahoma, then we're not going to reach that out. But like, of course you can go to LA and New York and Seattle and go, oh, we know there's local music here. You go to New York and you think like jazz, or like New Orleans, you think jazz. Yeah. You go to Seattle and you have like these indie bands. And so like there's definitely like scenes going on and people know about it and it's part of the culture in those areas. But like there's no non-musician consumer that is trying to tell every other non-musician consumer that there's music here.
Well, I think you're absolutely right, and I think that if you really want to talk about capitalism and economics and market share, at the end of the day, and I've said this for fucking years, your band is a business. Mm-hmm. Regardless of whether or not you like that or not. Mm-hmm. If you want to have a career, and most people in the scene do want to have some kind of career, your band is a business. It's a fucking brand. Yeah. So at the end of the day, as shitty as it sounds, you have to think like you're selling a product. Yeah. So I would agree 100% that there's a cultural. I don't necessarily want to use the word problem, but it is about the culture in Oklahoma. Now you said more, home of Toby Keith, right? Well, right there you have a genre. Yeah. Country. Mm-hmm. Okay. That means that the market in Oklahoma, there's a good chance that some of these non-music consumers are consuming music. They're just not consuming the music that's being played at certain venues like the Deli or the and whatever. Yeah. They're going to Toby Keith's Bar and Grill in Bricktown and seeing a country act. They're seeing country bands, right? And that's not to say that country musicians are not a part of the local scene, but they're not generally a part of
our local
this
scene.
kind of local scene, also, this conversation that we're having.
Cutter Elliott is a really, really nice guy.
See, I have no idea who that even is.
Did you go to ACM?
Yeah.
I know who you're talking about. Yeah. He's stupid good.
Yeah, he's really good. Yeah. And he's like a really good country act. Yeah. And he's always playing shows. Yeah. He's a really nice guy. Yeah. But like we as rock people or whatever, like non-country stuff, we look at country and you're just like,
But I'm sure that he does very well for himself. Like I would hazard a guess that if he were to And I have no idea what his business model is or anything like that. But I would hazard a guess to say that he does better than the majority of a local rock band that does here. So the point that I'm getting at is like, absolutely, you can try to make a culture change happen, and I think that that's important in a lot of areas. But at the same time, you also have to look at your band as a company that is selling a product. If you have a fucking taco truck next to a dog food factory, you're probably not going to sell very many fucking tacos. Yeah. So you move your fucking taco truck and you try to sell some to some other people. It's just not going to work out. So it's like, if you have a problem with the culture, or you feel like the problem is with the venues or whatever, again, you need to look at the root of the problem. And like I said, I think it's very important that venues appreciate the artists, and I don't want to get away from that. But also, if people are buying your shit somewhere else, focus on somewhere else. Yeah. And sometimes this job requires you to move. Yeah. If that's the situation, then that's a hard decision you're going to have to make. It's like you can't just assume that the people will flock to you. Right. And it's different in different places. Noisebleed Sound did way fucking better in Tulsa than in Oklahoma City or Norman. Yeah. I don't know what it was. It had to do with the culture, but other than that, I couldn't tell you what it is.
Well, I think there is like a cultural assumption that just Oklahoma means country. Yeah. And
home of Toby Keith.
Yeah, home of Toby Keith. But like, I don't know, like there's so many not country things that are awesome going on here. And I mean, like, yeah, you can just go like, oh, but the Flaming Lips. But like, that's a whole other, like, the Flaming Lips has ascended above this caliber of what we're dealing with.
The Flaming Lips did not get famous with their identity tied to Oklahoma City. Yeah. Yeah. It was never like Flaming Lips, the next hottest thing coming out of Oklahoma City. Right. It was more like, oh, there was this Seattle thing that was popular that was kind of similar. And so you would have assumed, oh, the Flaming Lips, the next hottest thing from Seattle. You would have been surprised. But what you were saying, Jack, about was when you first started talking about like country, it gave me a thought of like maybe this is a potential route to a solution, because like the obvious solution is move somewhere where what you're doing will be
that's a short-term personal solution.
Exactly. Right, it works for an individual or for an individual act, but it doesn't fix the community. Correct. But like, why is country so popular in Oklahoma? It's not popular in Oklahoma City because Oklahoma City is the country, because it's not, and it hasn't been in 60 years. But it's popular because like, what role does it serve in society? Like, what do people like to do in Oklahoma? Right? They like beer, and they like sports, and they like, tailgates. And what improves that experience? Country music. It's all about sort of glorifying this sort of working class lifestyle. It is very intentionally and very explicitly like it pairs well with beer. Yeah. And I'm not saying that, so everybody has to do country because Oklahoma likes sports and beer. But like, country doesn't do well because people are just absolutely obsessed with any one particular local country artist. They're not usually that distinctive from one another anyway. And everyone in Oklahoma City that I know of, they want to create this art and they want to make the statement and then they want to sell this art to people. But ultimately what you're doing is you're selling an experience, and you've got to decide like, what do people already want to do? What do people already value? What are people already willing to spend money on? And then out of that massive list of things you can probably come up with, what on that list does our music improve upon? And then you can tie yourself to that thing and then sell that. So like,
it's salesmanship and demographics and like all that stuff.
Like, we're a rock band, Sure. What things are improved by rock bands?
Bar fights.
Bars, right? Like a dark, dingy, smoky bar. Country music too, but the country music that does really well in those environments tends to be a little edgier anyway.
Yeah. I mean, Red Dirt is...
Exactly. Yeah. like we were talking about this a while back. I went to like 3 or 4 shows at the Blue Note in like a week and a half. Just coincidentally, there were a lot of shows there that I want to see. And I realized there's a ton of people here and it's the same people, even though it's not the same band. Right. And it's because those people want that experience. It's a lot of like, I don't know that they are bikers. There's definitely some bikes in the parking lot.
Like damn near a biker bar.
But they look like bikers.
Yeah.
They definitely want to like enjoy that environment and that identity. And a loud ass fucking rock and roll band on stage like is almost an essential part of that environment.
Yeah.
You know? So there are other things like that. Like, oh, if you're some kind of like hipster indie band, not to like talk bad about 98% of bands in Oklahoma City, but
I'm definitely a hipster indie band, so
there you go.
don't have to worry
I was
about
going to
that.
say, who are you outing in this scenario?
like everyone. But no, it's not a bad thing. But like, what experiences are that people are already ready and willing to spend money on are improved by that.
Yeah.
And there are classy restaurants, there are art festivals, there are, different forms of performance that people are willing to at least add some value to, like theater or things like that you can maybe tie yourself into somehow. And
well, you can also you can look at the other bands that are. I mean, your definition of success can be loose, but like I said, I always like to look back at Zoot Suit. Zoot Suit had a crazy fucking following, and they knew how to work it. They threw that house party like twice a year or something like that. That was huge. I mean, like 300 fucking people would show up to that house, and they had a niche, and they knew where they were supposed to be. They knew what they were supposed to be playing, and they played perfectly to that audience. And in that scenario, they literally created their own venue. Yeah, because that's kind of what the house. Well, yeah, and it's like that's what that culture was into.
But they and other local bands thought of it like a venue. Like you wanted to play Baffa. Yeah, like you want to play Kane's Ballroom.
Yeah, it was huge. As soon as like anybody heard about Baffa, was talking to anyone from the band, they were like, "Yo, can we fucking play Baffa this year?" And it was a huge thing to be on that.
Yeah, yeah.
But I mean, like. And what you're saying is like, oh, what is like, hipster indie stuff go into? And like immediately my mind went to like 23rd and like Paseo and stuff.
Yeah. Bar hopping.
Yeah.
People want to go to all the neat little like cocktail bars and, all the little cute little restaurants, and having something. It's not, I'm sorry, but it's not important what exactly your music is. It never has been.
Sure.
But like if what you're providing is, we are some kind of music that's different. There are sounds coming off the stage that you don't usually hear. It adds to the experience that people are already willing to pay money for, which is novelty.
Yeah. And that's the same with any musical act at all. It's like it's you got to know who you're supposed to be playing for.
Yeah, like how do you add to an experience that your audience is already willing to pay for?
Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
but at the same time, it's like what venues are in that area. There's like Sauced, which is a really small room. Yeah. There's The Root, which I mean, it's a bar, but it's also kind of like removed from like Paseo and 23rd, and then like Tower.
I mean, there's definitely not that many venues. Which is also a problem too, because the venues that are open, can be very selective because there are so many acts that want to play there just because of the lack of
Tower.
This is where the relationship with the venue starts to become very important, because 23rd Street, every one of those little cocktail bars, you could put a stage in there. They're all pretty small. You couldn't put a big stage in there, but you could block out, like 9 square feet in the back.
But you know how many freaking like acoustic singer songwriter?
I was gonna say, get those acoustic guys,
and that's good.
There's lots of those. Yeah. I'm one of those. I can be. Yeah. So like, you can definitely.
And like, how much are those, or have they already? How much money have those venues spent on getting their vibe right? You know,
Right, yeah,
those
yeah.
places are decorated intensely and intentionally. And you say, okay, let's have a band in here that reinforces that. And let's give them, you know, let's give them 5% of the bar. That's it.
Sure.
As long as you're in here playing music, you get 5% of the bar.
Yeah.
It's like, that's the
and
difference.
half off drinks.
Sure. Yeah, fine. But like, that's like the
half
difference
off my
between whether your tippers are feeling particularly generous or not. Like that's
a separate economy
It is.
conversation.
It is. Yeah.
But
But that's
Well, it's the same when it goes back to the culture.
Yeah.
That just circles back around again.
yeah. But but the point is like 5% at the bar is a write-off.
Sure.
You know? But when you have this environment where there is no money in the music scene, venues, anybody that has a stage is wary of and kind of protective against local musicians.
Yeah.
Because they view it as, well, my patrons aren't used to hearing live music. They want to talk. Now, realistically, you're not going to be any louder than the music playing over the speakers is anyway.
Hell no. Yeah. They're blasting that shit.
Yeah, exactly.
In that scenario, yeah.
But they're like, oh, but what if they're not good? And then people leave. But like,
That's a risk you kind of need to take.
and I think it would be worth it to the bars, you know?
Well, because all the good acts leave. In
Right,
the long
exactly.
run, it's a lot more useful to invest in those artists because all the good ones leave.
'Cause
I
then you have-
plan to move to LA in 2021.
Yeah.
There you
Like
go.
because there's this idea that like there's no future for me here.
Yeah. And you know that. You know that now.
And
like,
that's so like
It sucks.
And like
Yeah.
it's not that I don't want to build up like the local music scene here.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm hopefully have contributed enough just by having this podcast.
yeah. You definitely enriched the environment and had conversations like this, which are important.
But I
definitely-
don't plan on staying here.
Yeah, yeah.
And so like yeah, if again, if not just the venues, because again, we can't pin it all on the venues, but if the culture allows these acts to thrive without having this sort of like patting ourselves on the back for like, hey, look, we put on, you know, Norman Music Fest, and like, yeah, I'm playing Norman Music Fest and all that, but it's like they pride themselves on like, oh, we play every act, or we pay every act.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, but hey, if you pay a 5-piece band and a $25 gift card to the garage,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah. Yeah, I remember
but
that. Yeah.
like, and so it's hard because yeah, they have so many stages and all this stuff to like organize and stuff, but like if all of those venues that are Norman Music Fest are prepared to have music all the time, then that scene could actually flourish a bit more rather than just here's one time a year that we open up all these stages and have all this stuff going on.
Yeah.
It's like, well, look at all these venues that suddenly we have.
Yeah. I mean, if that was the case, it would look like Austin,
Yeah.
you know, just because there'd be live music coming from every fucking open door, you know, on Main Street or whatever the situation is. And Norman is way better than Oklahoma City. To be fair, Norman is way better.
I just don't like having to
And
drive all the
Norman
way the
and
fuck out to
Norman's
Norman.
relative to like music scenes at large, Norman still sucks, and it's
Yeah.
way better than Oklahoma City.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's just kind of a situation where I think, I mean, at the end of the day, you know, what would it take? You know?
And like have a conversation with other musicians, other venues, because I feel like, and you know, I'm kind of fresh on the scene myself, but like I don't know what relationship I have with venues.
Yeah.
Like I feel like, you know, sending an email being like, hey, can I play at your thing, is like the extent to the relationship that I have with venues.
Yeah.
As opposed to like talking to whoever is doing the bookings or talking to the owner and like actually seeing like what we're doing and knowing about that. But if like, you know, we need to be interconnected rather than just like a hard cutoff between musician and venue and consumer and whatever that means.
Right.
I have a take for that too.
Go for it.
Let's do it.
So I feel like there's a 3-step process. Like first of all, understand
Under my 3-step umbrella plan.
Exactly.
Here in my first 100 days.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so first of all, understand that we exist in a capitalist music scene, and start thinking about, okay, where is there already money? How do we insert ourselves into that, which we talked about? And then the second thing is okay, now we have to establish what is the role of venues or promoters or whoever in that, and then it's how do we actually put these things into how do we make these things actually happen?
Yeah.
And there were a lot of different solutions to a whole bunch of different problems that kept coming up sort of repeatedly during this first huge wave of this conversation that happened. And a lot of things that people proposed sounded an awful lot like a union. And
I believe the word union was used
probably by me
multiple times. I saw a couple different people that were saying we need a musicians union that would basically blackball certain venues.
And that's not. I feel like that is one. It's easy to say.
That's kind of a militant approach to just hard line.
I mean, that was the immediate problem that they wanted to tackle. Was that, and then it was
because that's what the conversation was. It's a very negative conversation, and ultimately, I don't think the problem can be rested on any individual shoulders, and so I don't think you can solve it by sticking it to any individual party.
Right.
But okay, having a large group of musicians that make up between the lot of them a significant audience of people who will come out to shows, who will spend money at bars, who will pay a cover. And I can think of a dozen bands off of the top of my head to fulfill that criteria. They're not making any money, but they have all those things.
You're saying bands that have enough draw.
Yeah, just any draw. But on their own, it's still not enough. It's you're going to bring 20 people out to my bar that usually serves 60, and that I have to have 100 people come in to really make a difference.
Yeah.
It's not enough. But if you have all these venues, go, okay, here's the deal.
You have all the venues or all the bands?
All the bands, sorry. Or not even all the bands, just enough significant bands. You go, okay, all of these bands, say, okay, here are the terms if you want to book any of these bands. This is the minimum. And then if you want to compete, then you've got to go above it. And say, in return, obviously, you'll have access to all these artists, and we'll be willing to play your venue. We'll have people come out to shows, yada, yada, yada. Doesn't have to be there are a lot of models for paying bands for shows that don't actually put a lot of risk onto venues,
Percentage is a great way of doing that, too.
A percentage of the bar is perfect. I don't know why more people don't do it. And then if anybody's not willing to do that, you just go, okay, well, have fun with the rest of the music scene, which if this works out well, the rest of the music scene will be oh, you join this organization and you benefit from it. You get better terms for gigs. The only places that are going to be booking bands outside of this organization are kind of by definition, not booking bands with very favorable terms.
So you are proposing a union?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, that's definitely
that's what I'm saying.
It's just to clarify that's what happened.
But a union,
what you're describing as a union.
Yeah.
And then a union, but a union in total, not just a union, we're all going to get together and agree to never play VCDs again.
Yeah.
Because I don't think that's constructive.
So you're saying you have to have actual positive elements to this union that provide benefits for both the venues and for the bands.
Maybe bands have to pay in, not you're not going to pay a due because
that's annoying
to join it. It's annoying. Bands already don't have money. You just you're reinforcing the problem of all the money going into the system is coming from the side of it.
Not necessarily audition, but meet certain criteria.
That's
it's
what I was gonna
say. Do you have music out? Is it of a certain quality that you think that at least the rest of the group agrees this is good music that we would like to promote?
Yeah, you'd have to have standard criteria as far as music quality, certain qualifications for social media, not necessarily you have to have X amount of followers, but you have to have a professional looking Twitter page, and you have to fucking
post frequently
regularly and stuff like that. And I mean if you wanted to really go just full tilt into this, you might even have a voting process.
Yeah,
like maybe you have like a small board of like one representative from 10 different bands votes on if a new band can join the
or whatever
coalition or whatever.
But like, I mean, and that all gets into the nitty gritty of it, but also like it gives bands motivation to do really well too, because there are also problems of, it's not even for anyone in particular. It's kind of just endemic that like, bands will book shows, they will get other people on shows, and then bands will not communicate well. Bands will cancel last minute. And that hurts everybody. And then you could say, oh, well, if you want to participate in this, you got to follow through on stuff.
Yeah.
And like,
because then we hold ourselves to a higher standard.
Exactly.
And it's like, hey,
and then
man,
the venues feel really good about.
Yeah. You canceled on this last gig. Like, I don't know if I want to book you on another one.
Exactly. And we can just basically tell venues like, hey, we're not holding your requirements for booking this band to the same standard that we do everyone else, because they're not following through on what we expect from local musicians.
Yeah.
And there was something else.
Is this the first step still?
No, this is step 3.
Okay, I was.
Whoa.
Okay, I kind of.
No, first step was
the flurry of activity.
just like recognizing that we live in a capitalist system and trying to think about things accordingly.
Gotcha.
And
Easy
then
enough.
second is establish that we need strong relationships with venues, and
then 3 is
like unionize.
Unionize
is
form,
how you make it happen.
and form a militant group
Actual AK-47s.
and go wear bandanas and leather.
You can't have bump stocks, though.
No bump stocks.
No
Those
bump
are banned.
stocks, but you can throw Molotovs through a window, and
Pretty
that's
sure those are also
good old
illegal.
Yeah,
fashioned.
that's definitely illegal.
Talking about music that's good for situations, rock music, excellent for riots. So if you
Excellent
need
for
a band
riots.
to play your
Hey,
political riot,
Let's start a riot.
let it off.
A riot.
Stop.
A riot.
Stop.
Please do not
Stop.
make the FBI raid
No, it's lyrics for
my podcast.
Who is that?
3 Days
Yeah,
Grace.
3 Days Grace.
Yeah.
I saw them.
That old nugget of a thing. I haven't thought of 3 Days Grace in such a long time, and I'm unhappy now that I have.
Fun fact. I saw 3 Days Grace once, and on accident. Clarification. I saw them, and it was me and my friend, and he was sitting next to this girl who could not have been more than 13 years old. And the lead singer for 3 Days Grace steps up to the microphone and he goes, "Have you ever fucked someone that you hate?" And this little girl goes, "Yeah." And my friend and I just look at each other and we were like, we are in the wrong place right now. It's very sad. So sad.
I mean, that is kind of a decent, like, if you're describing 3 Days Grace, just
That was all I needed.
a 13-year-old girl yelling
about hate fucking.
hate fucking.
Yeah.
That sounds about right.
Yeah. I didn't need that in my life. That's an experience I could have lived without. Anyway.
But I mean, at the same time, it also, like, even with, like, unionizing and having a good relationship with venues, it still doesn't, like, break out of this, like, music circle.
So
And that's the harder part. Like, so, like, the Gazette is really good at promoting local artists.
I think where union solves that problem is it just gives you a much larger organization with a lot more pull that will help, like, local publications notice, help local, local TV news notice. And also, like, let's say, okay, if you book a gig kind of within the union, then a percentage, and it can be a really small percentage of the revenue from that gig, just goes to the union. And then the union can put on their own, like, festivals or things like that, but are not so much like, I feel like a lot of festivals exist for the purpose of giving bands a place to play.
Yeah.
But, like, put on, maybe it's not a festival, but some event that is specifically about, like, let's get more people aware of local music, you know?
I mean, honestly, you could even work out a deal with an existing festival to have your own, like, union-sponsored stage.
Yeah.
Where it's like, if you could get, like, the side stage at Norman Music Fest, one of the bigger ones, and say, this is like a union showcase or some shit, where it's like you have 5 of the most popular union bands, and they all kind of say their spiel about local music.
Yeah. Also, not calling it union band, because that just sounds really...
100%,
it sounds
100%.
so shitty.
100%. This is the union recital stage.
Oh,
over
God.
here.
that's still something for the bands, which obviously there's a lot of things in this that are for the bands. It's primarily for the bands. Like that's the problems that are being solved. But also like I'm talking about putting on events that are specifically for people that aren't musicians, like things that are, maybe all these union kind of dues sort of go into, let's put on a show at a great location that has super cheap drinks because we can subsidize that.
Yep.
People want to come out specifically to see all these bands, and some people get defensive. They're like, oh, but they're not coming out to see my band. They're coming out to drink. I'm like, yeah, but if they're drinking and you don't suck, they will fall in love with your band.
Yeah. And also with that, I think that I have two separate thoughts. Also including like producers, managers, and like photographers, like videographers and stuff. Not? Everyone that's involved in the music scene. It's not just bands. It is producers. It is like, and all of the things involved in making this thing happen. So you have managers and like a list of managers. You have a list of producers. You have a list of photographers and like people who can help you make videos and like branding footage and stuff like that. That is also like associated with the thing, so that we sort of all look better together. And it's like, hey, who did your guys' music video? It's like, oh, this person. And then you go like to their account and it's like, wow, they do really great photography. And then they get more stuff. So like we're all helping each other. But then also I think that there might be stuff like already in place that just needs to get like
doesn't have
synergized to it. Like the Oklahoma Film and Music Office has like a giant database of Oklahoma musicians.
Yeah, but nobody's doing anything.
They don't do anything with
Wait,
it.
am I on this database?
Like,
probably.
I don't know.
You just sign up for it.
No, when we applied to Norman Music Fest, we automatically got added.
Oh, neat. Okay.
Weird.
Yeah.
Huh.
And then if you apply to like the Oklahoma City Arts Festival, it's the same thing. There's a lot of different things that are like big community events where you automatically get put into that.
Yeah.
Interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah. I mean, I'm in it, but like, again, I don't think they're like doing anything with it. But I mean,
what's it for?
That's a good question.
I mean, like
exactly. It's like a data. I guess
somebody thought this would be a good step in solving all of these problems.
Right. Exactly. And so maybe they were just like, oh, what if there was a list so that if like a venue wanted, oh, like my people want, a country act, and so they go into this thing and type in country, and then you get like this massive fucking list of all the country acts in Oklahoma. Interesting. And the same thing.
But the methods by which bands find, whatever, videographers, photographers, the methods by which venues find bands and all of this stuff already exist, and trying to come up with something totally separate, if it's not where people's minds naturally go, isn't really super helpful. It can be a part of it, but I think with the union idea, you kind of take the things that are already happening and you just solidify it into like an actual like established community and system.
Yeah. And I mean, there are already like some like music groups and like labels and stuff like that.
Cellar Door kind of tried to do that. I think that was ultimately their goal. Cellar Door Music Group. Oh, I don't know if you're familiar with them at all.
Kind of. The name rings a bell, but I don't know who they are.
I know Jarvix used to be really involved with them.
Okay,
and now he's doing Make Oklahoma Weirder, which isn't trying to do as much. It's really just trying to be a publication.
More a journalistic effort. Yeah.
But I know he would absolutely be down to.
Yeah. And I mean, there's also like Heller Music Group was going strong for a little bit. Now Stephanie Heller's in law school, so that's a little bit slowed down. But but I mean, like, there's already slight things kind of everywhere. Same with Christian Pearson, OK Sessions. Is doing cool stuff. But like, even still, I feel like there are times when it gets kind of like too insular, where we like, again, creating this sense that, and I mean, I want to talk to Christian Pearson, and if you're listening, you can be on the podcast. But
if you're an hour and a half into the second episode of Off-Brand's podcast, Christian, hit Santiago.
Yeah. But like, I do think that like, sort of creating this sense that like, oh, the music scene is like blowing up is not
the goal.
I don't like that. That's what the conversation is among musicians, especially if there's still situations where lots of people aren't getting paid.
Yeah.
And so it's like, yeah, there is a lot of like work and stuff that you have to put into it. And like, yeah, the people who are getting a bit more success are people who are kind of able to put that much more work into it. And so, yeah, kind of having some sort of infrastructure, like everyone talking to each other to be able to like lift each other up. But like, that's the thing is that like Color Music puts on awesome, great shows, and like they have great music and what they do is awesome. But they're also like established musicians. They all have jobs in the music industry. Everybody knows each other in that band. And like, that's a huge thing and it's great. But like anyone else that like some band that just formed out of ACM that like kind of doesn't know what they're doing, they don't have that same kind of infrastructure to be able to put on something like Color Music can.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I do think that like having a group, but it's just like we need to be able to actually talk to each other and agree on some of that. Because, yeah, at some point, if we don't, then everyone, like myself, is just going to move away.
Yeah.
Just going to leave.
And it's not like I'm also leaving because I want to make music for video games.
That's not going to happen in Oklahoma City.
Yeah, that's not going to happen in Oklahoma City.
Yeah.
There's
well, theoretically, you could go start that career, move back, and it not really matter. Like, if you can start that career somewhere where video games happen, you don't have to stay where video games happen to do the work. But anyway.
No, but like,
but you'd probably.
I'd rather be somewhere else.
I know.
I mean, and that's a big part of the problem too. Is that like you know, and there's nothing wrong with wanting to move away, but like most people that are doing music in Oklahoma now want to move away. And that's fine. And a lot of it is not entirely having to do with, you know, you're not making waves here as a musician.
Right. Yeah.
Some people just want to move away. And that automatically makes you much less invested in trying to change the overall culture. If you're like, yeah, but like I could also move to Austin and, you know, that's kind of where I want to live anyway. So why would I spend 3 years of my life trying to make this thing happen when I'm just going to move anyway?
I'm definitely going to spend a year of my life trying to make this thing happen.
Absolutely.
Even though I'm going to move away.
Yeah.
But like,
then if you get something started that is doing really, really well, there's no guarantee that when you leave, it doesn't just kind of like, that's what happened with Cellar Door is all the people involved just kind of moved on with their careers into, you know, bigger and better things.
Right.
And then it just kind of went away.
And then everything just, yeah. And that is kind of like, that's a sort of separate thing is that making sure that our posterity gets the same things that we set up.
That's why if you do a union, you have like a constitution basically. And you say the organization is basically this document, you know, and whoever goes through the process laid out in this document to be a part of it, then there's a voting body and all that. And like, even if the people who are leading it go away, there's an established way to just like keep it going. Or if it does fall apart, there's an established way to like set it back up again. But.
Yeah. And I mean, like, so in the conversation of unions, like, there's two extremes on it. So like the film scene in like LA, for example, is heavily unionized. Yeah. Especially because, you know, film has been around forever now. And, like, you can't act on a thing that like pays more than this amount and not be in a union. Like they just won't hire you.
Yeah.
And then there's the other extreme, which is video games, and there are no unions, and everyone is being hella abused and run into the ground.
100 hours a week.
Yeah.
For peanuts, literal peanuts.
And they're happy to do it.
And they are. But like, and the culture is like, this is part of the thing. You do have to work, 100-hour whatever, and, only get paid your 9 to 5, even though you're mostly working overtime. By the way, God of War, Game of the Year, last year, was almost entirely produced in crunch.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Red Dead 2, they were talking about working 100-hour work weeks. Yeah.
Which is insane. And so, like, I don't know at what level that needs to happen, but, like, the other thing, too, is that it gets kind of scary if it's too connected. Like...
yeah, you can have like cartels form and things like that.
Yeah. Because I mean,
start our own cartel. Get the union started.
I mean, like the literal.
We could start a union and call it a cartel.
Yes.
Ooh, I was gonna say start the union for the sole purpose of creating a rival cartel. Yeah. That was my thing, but we can do your thing too. That works.
That actually might be more because like, and this is the funny thing. This can be a sort of. Because we're getting really dry. But the thing about like rock music and like punk and all this stuff, it's all about like fight the power and stuff like fuck organization, yay anarchy is sort of the whole thing. Yeah. But it's also like, hey, we need to make money and like you need to join a union and you have to like sign this paperwork and make sure that you vote on our board. I
think collective bargaining is punk rock.
Anarcho-capitalism, but not quite fully like.
But
just
minus
anarchy.
the anarcho and plus the capitalism.
Yeah. It's actually just capitalism and.
Once we sign
capitalism asterisks.
Once we sign our CBA, we'll have the most kick-ass basement shows you've ever fucking seen.
But I mean, it is this weird thing in that like we're selling rebellion.
Yeah.
Dude, welcome to fucking marketing.
Yeah. No,
that's it, dude. They figured that out,
and it's probably why like people hated Green Day. American Idiot is. I mean, that's why I hate Green Day in general. Is because they your face just like is that like they took the sound of punk rock, which is all about like fuck.
DIY,
hyper
underground
capitalism and fuck like, so do it all yourself and fight the power. But also like we're very mainstream and we're very much feeding off of that. And so we're actually just selling the idea of punk rock
if
while
you want
not
to do
being punk rock
If you want to do a third episode, we can fight about American Idiot.
Oh my God. I don't want to be on that episode. Jesus. It's a thing, but like it's the duality of the idealism version of art and the real life capitalism version.
Right.
And
don't let the perfect be the enemy of the good. Like if there's things that we can do that maybe don't reflect those individualist punk rock values, but get the community closer to being able to be independent and being able to, speak freely, be able to be exposed to more people and communicate those ideas more importantly, then I think that's better.
Yeah. But I mean, like, because it is kind of weird because you reach a certain threshold in like a career where that gets really blurry. And like, or as Alex Sanchez was talking to recently called it just like rich person's disease. Like at some point, like Aziz Ansari's comedy was just like, hey, I have this story about a celebrity that I hung out with. And it's like, you're not relating to literally anyone.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know. I feel weird about it. Or like Banksy, for example, is another of super rebellious art, but he's also making like millions of dollars selling super rebellious art. So like, and that's
Yeah.
how you feel about
think-
Banksy.
I don't know enough about Banksy to have an opinion.
Me neither. I think everybody just needs to grow the fuck up. Art is dead. Get over it. Sell your fucking music. And if you want to play, I'm speaking intensely satirical for everybody listening, but like honestly, like it just depends on how you want to see the world. If you want to sell your art, then fucking go do it. And somebody calls you a sellout, okay, fuck them. Who cares?
Yeah.
You're making however much money to do this shit. Who cares?
Yeah.
You can't hear them over your swimming pools full of money. Who cares? If you want to play acoustic guitar in a little cafe on a fucking, some far off city somewhere and play for tips, then fucking do it, man.
Then move to Seattle.
Then you, in your mind, are a more genuine, authentic human. And good. I hope that makes you feel full
you can
because you're
sleep
going to
at
need
night.
some money. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
hopefully-
I'm just saying, it's kind of a silly debate to have because it's like, man, just decide what.
Hopefully the coffee shop will pay you in baguettes.
Exactly. It's like, man, just do, fucking figure it out. Do whatever you want to do. Who cares?
That's why I don't like that. It's so expensive.
Yeah.
Like we're already not making enough money.
Oh, it's an expensive ass hobby.
If you buy this like $5,000 amp, maybe this time it'll work.
Yeah. Yeah. If you spend an extra day in the studio, an extra, $900 or whatever, then maybe you can, maybe your record will be good enough for someone to hear it.
I resent that. I often think an extra $900 in the studio would make all the difference.
Oh, I think you're definitely right. I don't have that $900.
Right.
And we have to get Oh So Sensitive out, and we forgot to say anything about it.
We were supposed to say it at the beginning.
Oh So Sensitive is Off-Brand's hot new single, and it's out now on Spotify and YouTube and Napster and Apple Music and
all of the places.
all of that. It's out
Tidal.
there.
It's on Tidal.
You guys on Tidal?
Yep.
Yeah.
We should have fucking said it at the beginning.
So you can just edit this in.
Yeah,
I could, yeah.
Splice over a voiceover, be like, Off-Brand's new song, Oh So Sensitive.
I could
available now.
just put this ending section at the beginning and then just leave it at the end as well.
There you
Yeah.
go.
So they hear it
Sure.
twice.
That'd be
You're
great.
hearing this twice.
That'd be perfect.
Efficiency.
Well, we solved the local music scene.
Yep, we did
solved
it.
it.
Nothing else to do.
Now we need
We're
someone to
done.
actually do all the
Yeah.
work of
Everybody
making
shake
all the
hands
things
with
happen.
yourself,
Yeah.
and then we've done it.
And also make sure that we get all the credit.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
Well, all you need to do
Off-brand in
is
Santiago.
somebody call Eamon and tell him exactly to link him to this podcast, and then he'll just go nuts and he'll do this whole thing, and then we'll claim credit for it, and that's all we need.
There you go.
Solved it.
Sweet.
Thanks for having us on, man.
Yeah,
Appreciate it.
thank you guys for doing it and this interesting conversation. Anything else to plug?
Do we have any shows coming up? This is May 9th.
After May 9th.
I think we're gonna have 2 shows in June. We're looking at booking one in Norman, and we definitely have a show in Oklahoma City, June 28th, I
Where?
believe. I don't remember.
It'll be on our Facebook page and probably our everything
Yeah,
else.
follow us on Facebook, Instagram. Those are our main spots. We also have a Twitter and a YouTube account where we post behind the scenes videos. And
Yeah.
yeah,
a neat thing.
that's what we got. Thanks for listening, everybody.
Thank
yeah.
you. Thanks for having us on.
Thank you guys for doing it. I'm trying to think if I have any upcoming shows
After May 9th.
Dude, I
9th.
want to hear that recital. I was working whenever you were doing it.
No, it's all
So-
good. Yeah, that'll be
Or not recital.
and around.
Excuse me, you didn't. call it a
No, I
recital.
mean it is a recital, but
Composition,
it's not. Yeah. It'll be around. Maybe you can find it right now. Maybe you should check my website.
Cryptic.
Well, because I don't know.
Yeah.
Time works in forwards and backwards and circular
It's
ways.
all wibbly wobbly,
Yeah.
timey-wimey stuff.
I mean, my cosplay group is going to be performing at A-Kon in Dallas and at Tokyo and Tulsa.
Who are you cosplaying as? I didn't know you did cosplay.
Hey, I do cosplay. We'll be doing skits in the cosplay contest. So go to the cosplay contest if you're going to be at either Akon or Tokyo and Tulsa. That like tiny fringe of people who listen to this podcast. It looked like you were about to say something.
I said, there you go.
Okay. Yeah, you can find everything I do on my website, santiagoramones.com. I make music. Download or pay for my demo. You can check out anything else that I have on my website. Comment, leave reviews on the podcast. Let me know what you think. If you would honestly like to make the union thing happen, I guess, like, talk to everyone else too. And then I always end the podcast with my 3 things. They shape my life philosophy. Those 3 things are: love never fails, it's going to be okay, I might be wrong.